the meme thing of the Spider-Man pointing at each other. We knew it was going to happen. It didn't need to happen.
Well, what I'm going to say is, what I'm going to say is that yeah, it we all knew it was going to happen. When it happened, everyone stood up and cheered and all that, and that's great. That's what you want.
Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is. I mean,
let's put it this way.
Did they take advantage of it? Sure they did, but guess what? It was funny. And I didn't really feel like it was pushed into the storyline. It just kind of flowed into it.
Fan service,
yeah,
man.
Dude,
fan service.
As long as you can do that.
It, I guess. By the way,
there's like
the
a time
fourth
place
be with you all, by the way, because, you know, get a taste of the dark side.
Yeah, hence why we're talking about Spider-Man and Transformers before that and Marvel. But yeah, it is Star Wars. Today is May 4th. So,
May the 4th. May the 4th. By the way, we're live. So I spring that on you.
Man, I wish I look forward to the day where I can be excited for Star Wars again.
You and me both.
I
most
predict
exciting thing I've done.
The day I will be excited for Star Wars again is when they actually do Shadows of the Empire as a movie.
Yes, I was talking about that before. I think that would be a perfect storyline for even their Disney Plus, you know, take my money promo.
Yeah,
a series on Shadows of the Empire. Why not?
There's a very, very controversial theme or scene that's apparently happened. I think it's in Andor. Deals with some very, very, let's put it this way, has no business being in the Star Wars universe kind of thing.
I guess I missed that. What are you?
It's a very, very inappropriate scene. Let's put it that way. Dealing with abuse. I don't want to, you know, really dance on it too much, but it involves with a man and a woman. Let's put it that way. It's just not. And from what I heard, because I haven't watched it, but from what I've heard, it's just inappropriate. It doesn't even add anything to the storyline. It's just they put it in there for shock value.
A little bit PG-17 or whatever.
Well, let's put it this way: it should be labeled rated R because of the content. That's not cool.
R for raunchy. Like a little raunchy going on.
We're going to be raunchy in the Star Wars universe. You know, thank you, Mr. Mickey Mouse with your little ears. Oh, we're gonna get that $1 billion. Oh, I'm sorry, but I gave up on the Star Wars universe after Force Awakens because everything just kind of went to crap.
Let's be honest. When Disney took over,
yep.
I mean, that's it. I mean,
it ruined it. Like, the thing is, Rogue One was good just because the writing was good. There was a solid story. That's the only reason it was good. Everything else around it.
I got behind Rogue One.
Yeah,
I was okay. I got behind Han Solo. It was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't the best, but
The Mandalorian I thought was okay. The Book of Boba Fett I thought was pretty daggone good. However, I really feel like that I can't remember the main actor's name, but I think the one that plays Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. I think they threw this role on him before he had time to repair, and you know, I mean, I'm sorry, but dude, Jenny Craig, man, I mean, not you're being called Boba Fett. I mean, it's
Tubba Fett. What?
Tubba Fett?
Boba Fett. So
and his Slav
lay off the Twinkies, something.
You're talking about the Mandalorian season 2.5.
Well, yeah, the Book of Boba Fett. I'm sorry, the Book of Boba Fett. So, yeah, but the story was it was good, you know.
Yeah.
And the Mandalorian, the story was good. Han Solo, the story was let's just make this work.
It was okay.
Well, what I was trying to say while I was muted earlier, so none of the words got to this microphone. Everything to me about Boba Fett was, or about the Han Solo movie was good, except for their choice of Han Solo. I think that's the only thing that didn't.
Well, yeah, the casting they probably could have done better. But I kind of looked over that and looked at the storyline itself, and the story they told I thought was okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't
I can get behind that.
I mean, this is the thing. You have like we said, like if we really dig into what had been created before Disney got their grubby little mitts on Star Wars, and if they would have followed what George Lucas did, because George Lucas basically gave them scripts and everything to basically outline another 10 to 15 years, you know.
Well, but the thing is that he gave ideas, okay? So you have ideas and then you have direction. And when Disney steps in and does their own direction, well, the idea that you had is not really what we got.
No, it was nothing like what we got.
Everyone's got their own spin, their creativity, this, that, and the other. But if you're not, Lucas all the way up into that when he had Spielberg and he had I can't think of the other. He closely watched what they did to move the content to the vision he saw. And yes, it was their direction, but he moved it that way.
Well, the thing is,
and you don't have that.
The thing is, like I said, he already had stuff planned out. But what Disney did is they basically took every book, everything that was written before they got their grubby hands on it, that wasn't turned into an actual series or anything, and said, nope, that's not canon. We're just going to flush it, burn it, throw it in a corner somewhere, ignore it even exists, and then build our own stuff off of, some kind of fairy tale BS that everybody tries to put it into, what are they called? Cancel cultural.
I mean, it would have been fine if they had.
Understand that when he gave them those ideas, those scripts, those plans, they own them.
Yeah, they didn't.
So they
didn't
don't have
even read them. The thing is, they didn't even read them, bro.
Their whole idea was, I'm going to take these, I'm going to buy these, so no one else can use them. Then I'm going to do what I want, and that's pretty much what they did.
I mean, it's one thing for them to. It would have been one thing for them just to say that all of this is not considered canon until we canonize it, and then use that stuff, because I think they have in a couple spots. But they definitely. And the bigger problem is.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and the bigger problem is there's no one person at the creative helm.
Exactly.
And that there's too many chefs in the kitchen. And everyone's doing their own thing, and it doesn't mesh together. It's like the reason why Marvel was successful before Disney bought them is because they had the plan of where it was going.
They also had Stan Lee, which was still alive.
Hang on. What they have now is that they have the name.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to any director and say, write something up. Yeah, that looks great. Just do it. Well, it doesn't really flow with, I don't care. Just do it. And they're doing these stories, and they're basically calling them the stories in the Star Wars quote-unquote universe. And then they pick and choose. And then when you go back and say, well, there's books that are the opposite of what you're writing. Oh, well, that's not canon.
Yeah, well, that's the point. The point I'm trying to get across is, instead of actually following an entire outline that they had basically given to them, they just set it on fire, threw it in a corner somewhere, didn't care. And the reason,
because they own it.
No, well, get this. I was watching a video, and I know this has nothing to do with anything we're going to talk about today, but we are talking about quality control. But the biggest thing is the fact that A lot of actors don't even want to sign up. And there's a new movie that's supposed to come out. It's called Starfighter. They don't even want to sign up for this movie. The actors don't. Why? Because they're blaming the fans for the fans being toxic. And it's not true at all. What has become toxic is the fact that the companies that are, Disney and everybody else that's behind them with their little shareholders, they're the toxic ones. But they want to blame the fans. They don't want to actually point the fingers where it belongs.
Let me ask you something. All right? You go to a buffet. You stick your hand out and you grab something and you eat it. You don't like the food.
Yep.
And you go, daggone it, I'm going to cut my hand off. Now I don't have to worry about the food. How does that make any difference? How does that make any sense? Why, if you're catering to an audience and you give them a buffet they don't like, why would you bash the audience and not the food that you put out?
Yep, exactly. It's what I'm calling quality control. It's
stupidity is what it is.
Stupidity, really. Yeah, it's kind of like what the gaming industry is doing to people too. Oh, well, you guys don't want to pay X amount of money for us. Switch to. Oh, we're going to still jack it up $100, and then you guys are still going to pay for it. Explain this to me. If you're not happy with something, but yet you're still going to buy it. Explain
That's
this.
the difference between...
I don't understand this culture. This culture, to me, is
that
ignorant.
is the difference between fans and cattle. I mean, it's plain and simple.
True.
You're either a fan or you're a herd in the cattle.
Sheeple, as I like to call them.
Yeah. I'm
not.
Everyone else is doing it. I should do it. Okay, let's do it.
Exactly. And speaking of which, let's segue into what we were going to talk about today. By the way, welcome to everybody to our 11th episode of Plasticast. Joined here by Brett and Cybird. And Don is off on assignment. I don't know what he's off doing, but he's doing something. Well,
he's doing real world stuff.
Oh no. That actually matters, right? Not in this
it's called
virtual
adulting.
space that we're in. It's
adulting, and we don't. That's toxic. We don't like it.
Yeah, get that out of here. I don't have enough here. I got some good smelly good spray here. Here we'll. There, that gets rid of that toxicity.
Oh, that smells good.
It does. It's all nice and like fragrant in here now.
It's very airy.
It is. It's called Frozen Lake.
I was gonna say Frozen Lake, so I mean, yeah, what it smells like.
But anyway, what's not frozen is people's wallets when it comes to purchasing HasLab items.
Oh my! I think I dodged. There's a part of me that thinks I dodged the bullet, and then there's that. What's that called? FOMO.
Yeah.
FOMO. Yeah, and I got that when everyone was showing their nice new toy and what it did and everything, and I'm like, man, I really missed out. And then we get the issues.
Yeah.
And then we get the responses from Hasbro.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys aren't in the know or know what we're talking about or even referring to here, we're talking about the latest HasLab release. Not the one that's actually being backed right now that had already been paid for, which is Lyle Kaiser. We're talking about
I'm still waiting
the
on
one before. We are talking about what Sideburns about to hold up here, which is the RID Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime that come out. There is a huge issue with this toy showing up broken already in the package before anybody's even touched it, along with yellowing. We're talking about a exclusive club thing that you have to pay into to purchase this thing. This isn't a mass-produced toy. This is a toy for exclusive. I gave you this money. You make this toy. Give it to me.
Okay, so one of the things that really bugs me is that people are going to say, well, it happens, whatever. Does anyone remember, what was it? Is it Victory Saber?
What are you talking about, the masterpiece?
Yeah, no.
The HasLab.
Okay.
The HasLab. So,
I think the track record right now is pretty bad.
Yeah, the rub. Okay, it rubbed all the chrome off the chest. And everyone was saying, well, it was packaging, this, that, and the quality was good. And we'll give you replacement stickers. So anyway, hang on. So I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I could see that. But this has nothing to do with packaging. This has nothing to do with anything other than the quality of the toy.
Yep.
And what is Hasbro's response to this?
So, Cyburn, what are you going to have to go through in order to get a repaired toy here, buddy?
Exactly.
Well, I think that I saw you link it or post it in. Was it you that posted it in the group chat?
Yeah, I posted all this stuff at the time it came up. So yeah.
So there's like, what is it? You have to take a picture, email them, take a picture of the damage, email them. They'll give you a packing slip. You have to ship it back, and then I think they'll replace it by the end of June or something like that. Sometime. Like no sooner than the end of June.
So basically, what they're saying is that even though that everyone's talking about this and it's widely known that it's an issue, you have to prove to them that your product that you received is defective. Then you have to box it up. You have to send it to them, and then you have to wait. Even though you backed this, how long ago?
It's been over a year, hasn't it?
Been just shy of a year, because they usually when did
I figured
it was just about a year ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold your money for a year. I'm gonna send you some crap. You're gonna prove to me that it's crap. I'm gonna allow you to send it back to me, and then another 6 to 8 months, I'll give you what you actually wanted.
Exactly.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
So
it's
here's
like
the thing:
the exclusive club. That's exactly what this is. It's an exclusive club.
It's the exclusive "Let Me Yank You" club.
Well, and I don't. Here's the. I'm probably not gonna do any of that. And here's the thing: is I don't trust that they'll actually fix.
Correct.
The issue, and so mine did have a crack right out of the box. It has a crack on one of the sides on Prime, where it's cracking for everybody. Yeah, where it's cracking for everybody. I don't know why my camera's out of focus.
Hold your toy up to it; it may focus better. There you go. It's not one to switch.
It's not one to switch back to the focus when it's far away. But yeah, so mine has a crack that when it's fully pulled out for transforming into vehicle mode, that collapsible section. So first, let me talk about the toys themselves. They are basically they are slightly more complex versions of the original. This is one of those cases where Hasbro took like the original design and then they engineered it with a few nicer things. Like stuff like the stuff that used to hang off the back of a Mega Prime here really folds up nicely behind it.
Well, they don't have the electronics anymore.
Right? Yeah, and so they did a lot of it, like you could transform Magnus almost completely just on memory of the original toy. There's a few little changes here or there. Optimus has a few more changes. But ultimately they are just take what it already did well and upgrade it, which I like when Hasbro does that. So if you have the originals and you don't have this, you do remember where the midsection of where Prime chest pulled up to form the Super Mode or to form a Mega Prime. That section inside of the cab for this Optimus has a problem where when it's fully pulled out, there's not enough space. Either the screws are over torqued. I unscrewed mine just a little bit, and that helped a lot with some of the like splitting and the crack I do have when it's fully pulled out. But there's spacing issues. When you pull it out, there's not enough room, and so it pulls out and it rips the plastic basically.
Well,
some people have.
From what I gather, because I saw a repair for this thing, is after you get done, basically, you put Optimus into his robot mode, you fold the head up, you unscrew, pull the entire backpack piece off, then you unscrew the 4 screws, and then pull the whole thing apart. It's kind of a gray plastic T-piece at the top, and apparently it's too wide. Like the piece is too wide, so it's literally pushing against the catching mechanism in there, and it's also causing the crack you're talking about. And what people have done because some aren't going to send it back, are literally shaving the sides of that off so that way it actually slides freely and doesn't catch.
Yeah, but wouldn't that make it looser? Wouldn't it be better to reinforce the chest piece?
It's only when it's extended far enough out, which is the only time you extend it that far out, is to
combine them.
Yeah.
No, transform it into vehicle mode.
Okay.
Because it doesn't. You halfway pull it out for combining them, but you pull it out fully to turn them into vehicle mode. So mine did have a split, but my split is really only noticeable when I first went to transform him. I saw the crack, and I sent these guys a picture immediately. But when I collapse it entirely to form his robot mode, the crack basically disappears. And so
so you have the pressure, and then no pressure. That. Let me ask you this: rather than you getting your little sticker, sending it back to them, would it make more sense to you for them to give you a new chest piece and a fixed gray piece you're talking about that would stop that? Wouldn't that
if they would do that, I think that would be the better solution. Like,
but they're not doing it.
Because I don't, and that's where, if they did that, I would believe that they fixed the tooling, right?
Absolutely.
If I send this back, I don't believe I'm going to get a fixed toy. And the thing is I've seen examples come that are worse than mine. And I've seen some that are better than mine, but I've seen some that are way worse than mine. Like split up both sides. Right. Just looks awful. Mine, when I transform into robot mode, the crack disappears. And I'm like, I would rather live with this, because if this didn't have quality control issues, especially the crack, it didn't have the cracking, this set would have been a huge win for Hasbro. It is a really freaking set.
I am not even an RID fan, and I think it's an amazing looking toy.
I mean, and I'm like holding it here, and I'm playing, like
adding more.
I'm waving it around. You couldn't do this with the originals.
Oh no! Oh no! You barely bump it, and
it was a floppy mess. This thing is so good. It holds together so well, but it's got the QC problem. Like, all they had to do was send it out to everybody without QC problems. All the people who paid for it, or who were sitting here just waiting. It's not like they didn't have time. They don't tell you when. They don't tell you when you're getting it, right? There's no release date on it. So, and here's the thing: is they knew it was, at least the factory knew it was happening in factory, because there are pictures of people have online of glue on the cracks.
It's not glue.
Which means it's not glue?
No, it's lubrication.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe
It
maybe
was
the
the
factory
plastic
didn't notice it,
lubrication
okay.
they used for it, so that way it can slide
So
up and down.
so if it's not glued, then maybe then you know.
Well, that was my other question I was going to ask you. Do you think, like yours has a crack, but it comes together and looks just fine? Could you put glue on that and reinforce that area so that it wouldn't do that anymore? Or would that
Probably
also
not.
make that piece, that gray piece you're talking about, make it crack somewhere else?
Well, that's the thing. What I'm trying to tell you, Brett, the gray piece that's in there, I can tell you what it probably is. It's probably when the factory got the got the blueprints to make the mold and all that. They're probably just slightly off, like even less than a micrometer off. That piece was too wide to put in there, and that's what's causing the cracking. Is whenever you slide it down, it's causing the pressure.
Okay,
What
so
I've seen people do is sand it down so that way it can slide freely and it doesn't hurt anything.
I'm going to ask you, as someone that does not own that toy, I did have the originals, but this is different. By sanding that gray piece down, is that going to make the overall performance of the toy less? No. Is it going to make it loose?
No, it shouldn't.
There's several people that's done the fix already that I've seen, and none of them has reported any problem with that whatsoever.
Okay, so basically anyone that has one that looks good and they're happy with should probably do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I got a good sample, definitely would probably just open it up and modify it. That's probably your best bet.
Yes. Basically, preemptive modification to make sure it doesn't do what is happening.
Yeah, and that was going to be my path, but obviously the picture I took was literally when I took the front half of the fire truck and folded it down and looked at it, and it was cracked.
Yep.
So I had no, cracked OBO or OBB out of the box.
Yep.
And
this has happened to several people.
It is what it is.
Yep.
I watched a review that Piod did because Piod got it and he did a full review. He was actually lucky enough to be one of the guys that didn't have any QC issues, but he knows about the QC issues. So he talked about all this situation of what you could do to fix the problem. And then I saw a couple other people had done it. I do know TJ Omega had gotten the toy and it had a crack in his already. And this is after I heard Sideburn had his. I'm just like, well, Don's getting 2 of these things. And the thing is, he's going to have one that he's probably going to leave in the box. So that's one of those things. It's like, well, is it going to be broken or not? You don't know at this point.
What was that called?
Schrodinger's cat.
And like Mike in our chat, he said he got one without cracks, but the plates inside were broken, which is another thing.
Yeah, there's some little teeth that are in there, and it's caused from this silly gray piece.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. So like I've seen the pictures where the teeth inside, like the little plates, they're like these little like ribs basically on the inside.
Are you talking about the ratchets?
That break. No, it's not the ratchets. It's internal to the same piece that's breaking externally. It's just instead of ripping the like ab section, it
chews away the
if you're
teeth.
lucky, it chews away these like teeth. I don't even think they're functionally for anything.
I think they catch the
they're
little
kind of just
red,
in there for.
There's like a little red U-shaped thing that's in there that's supposed to catch as you're like extending him and pushing him down. It's supposed to be like a soft ratchet
like
thing.
A ratchet.
No,
it doesn't get a ratchet to me.
I think it's just a lot.
I don't think I don't think it actually affects like I don't think it actually catches anything for stability purposes, as far as I'm aware.
But this is the point of this whole thing is like you don't have any yellowing on your magnets either, though, do you?
No, and I haven't seen anyone. I haven't personally known anyone who has yellowing. So it's kind of it's that thing with Hasbro white plastic. I think where I think 98 or 95% of the people are going to get pristine white, and then a few people will get yellow for some reason.
The
But
same thing happens to gray plastic too.
it probably means it's going to turn yellow.
Well, let me say something to you, especially about that. So I have the original RID Prime,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a prototype. Okay. So what makes that different? Well, prototype, I mean, we're not talking like was in display, it was handled, this and that. It was literally looked upon, approved, and thrown in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mine is yellowy.
That's just
So it doesn't have,
that's due to
it has
age.
nothing to do with the sun, has nothing to do with the handling. It's just that plastic over time yellows. It is what it is.
I'm pretty sure my original Ultra Magnus from way back when is yellowing at this point too.
I
It's
kinda
just
compare
Yeah, but you
this
probably
to-
never took it out of the sun. You probably never handled it like that, but it just does.
Yeah.
It's just, it seems like lately, like that white, whatever the white plastic is that Hasbro's using, it just seems to yellow faster.
But it's also
People have-
gray
agree.
plastic too, because I heard of people with their Motor Masters, part of it being the gray turning yellowish. So
Well,
it's not just
I've
white.
heard that the purple plastic on Kingdom Megatron is yellowing.
Yeah.
It's the
So
quality
think
of what
think
they're
about this.
using.
Think about this. Back in the 80s and it was late 80s, but let's just go with gold plastic syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, oh my God, GPS. Everyone's, oh my God. It didn't happen overnight.
No.
Okay, you had your Bristol back. You had your what was it called? Electro. All
Waste
that.
of pyro that I'm holding up in my hand.
Well, I mean, even all the way up to, like, they had claimed they had fixed gold plastic before they released that Millennium Falcon set that is riddled with the same
Right.
issues.
Yeah.
Right, and that was in the 95, 96.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean the crossovers Millennium Falcon.
No,
Yeah, that was like
that was like 2005, 2006
Yeah.
or something like that.
No, it was about mid 90s. Let's put it that.
No, the crossovers, those were in the 2000s.
yeah.
Really?
We're talking the
Yeah.
crossovers were in the 2000s.
I know what you're talking about. I just skewed on
Let me
the time.
let me look at it.
Yeah, because
That's okay.
it was Chewbacca that would just literally crumble to nothing.
Right. So,
Um,
but my point is that it took, if you had a 95, 96 toy with that gold plastic, it took years where it would get so brittle that it would break.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're looking at toys that have been out less than a year,
and this is the thing.
and
like,
they're breaking down.
well, the thing is, the reason I haven't ever pulled the trigger on Jaxus is because he's white. Like the toy they produced was white, and I'm like, I know what'll happen. I'll be the one that'll buy it, and not even like 3 years later, this thing's gonna be pea yellow, because it's what's gonna happen to it. And it's like, I know people that have had Minerva from way back, G1 Minerva, how bone white she's supposed to be, literally yellow in the box in a closet just because of the age of the plastic. And a lot of it is chemical makeup in the plastics itself. But the thing is, what they're doing now is extremely subpar plastic elements they're using, or whatever chemical makeup they're using now is complete garbage compared to what they used
now is
30 years ago.
definitely. I think it's what you're seeing now is definitely accelerated from what we got in the 80s and 90s.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I had. Is it called Electron?
Yeah, Electro.
I've told this story before. It was the reason why I got rid of all my gold plastic toys. I got the Japanese one, which comes in a foam tray, in a box, laying flat.
Packed in robot mode.
It was in robot mode, flat, in a display case, and I was actually doing a podcast, and I heard a pop. It shattered.
Yeah.
I never touched it, the air, nothing, whatever. It was just like, you know what? It's time. Boom.
Yep.
And it popped.
And in my collection, when I owned my Electro, I had never transformed it. But I was very, very, very fortunate to source on eBay at the time. Somebody had a lot of 3 of these knockoff Electros. They were called Deformation Car or something like that at the time. Mm-hmm. The weirdest knockoff ever. But it literally was Electro, but they were all yellow. They weren't gold. And I jumped on that like nothing. I was like, I'm getting that quick because I wanted those. So I went ahead and made one that could transform so I could actually get to play with that transformation freely and not feel like it's going to explode. And with the art of 3D printing nowadays, I don't know why nobody has jumped on the let's build reproduction gold plastic pieces. That should happen. There's really no excuse for it because you can even scan these pieces nowadays and somebody can make them. And speaking of like 3D printing, like I said in the previous thing, I got a video review of this coming up pretty soon, but this is all 3D printed, and the plastic quality that 3D print puts out is even tougher than half the stuff that Hasbro was releasing, because I think where Hasbro learned to start cutting corners is, remember back in Fall of Cybertron when we got Bruticus that was a bit thin. Most of those toys were a bit thin because of the oil crisis and all the crap that was going on. They learned that they could do less.
The great minimizing.
The Fall of Cybertron, Bruticus.
Yeah, the games, the game era. That was the great downsizing.
The great downsizing, and honestly, it hasn't recovered from that. I haven't seen it recover from that really.
It has to a degree. But they're at the same time. I feel like their plastic quality has come down a bit, and that might be the understatement of the century. But I think the bigger problem is that they've tried to do more with the engineering while sacrificing plastic quality.
Well, I mean, look at how hollow, like everything ever since then has been hollow. Everything before that wasn't. You think about
because
it.
You have a lot of these figures that are just breaking mechanically.
I think the ratio of cost of product versus price point is actually what's going on.
Hmm?
If they have a certain price point that they have to match, and it costs 10 cents more to fill in those gaps, they're not going to do it.
Well, I mean, it's like the new Gamer Prime.
I really don't think that's quality. I don't think that's quality. I think that's 100% cost.
Well, you have that Devastation Optimus Prime that come out. That new one. It's like a deluxe size, right? Explain to me why that came out with just an axe and not an axe and gun. But the previous version that they had that came out, that was the articulated version of what we would call the budget missing link Optimus Prime, came with an axe and 2 guns. Explain this to me. Why?
Yeah, I mean that one's definitely
they were the same price.
Yeah, no, it's the price of the plastic. It's the price of making it. Guaranteed.
I think that's that Devastation Prime. I think is an attempt to be a low cost, high seller. Just because they think it's going to sell because of Optimus Prime. I saw that thing in Walmart the other day, and I was like, "This thing looks so terrible." I don't even know. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what makes it Devastation. And I guess the 2 cell shaded tampos on the windows. Yeah. That's about it.
It kind of looks like it if you squint and look.
And the only thing I could say, like. The reason they didn't include a gun is because Devastation was mostly a melee game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still had a gun in it, though. I mean, there were really no excuse.
Yeah, I'm being you know,
yeah, a little facetious on it.
Yeah, I'm making an excuse that shouldn't be made.
My thing, like I said, my problem is quality control nowadays is the biggest reason why I stepped away from buying modern. Like, Combiner Wars to me was fine because I understood the direction they were going. I didn't have issues like a lot of people did with Combiner Wars. I was able to figure out workarounds. There were 3D, not 3D, but third-party kits out there that fixed a lot of the problems that they did have. But it wasn't costing so much at that time. Now they're jacked the price way up, and the toy is not worth the price. Like, look at the size of the toy also. Like, that Devastation price $25. Why? It's not. It shouldn't be $25. That thing is like a $15 toy max to me. Like, it looks like a knockoff. It really does.
It looks tiny. Like, I feel like we used to call that a core class toy. It was like the core class commanders from
Core Scout class, yeah, from back then.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they dropped. I mean, they went and dropped. They dropped that that basics size class.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't exist anymore. So now we get like basic size figures, and they just call them deluxes. And it's like, this doesn't feel very good.
I mean,
it doesn't.
It doesn't feel good. Like, from everybody I've seen that's had that toy, it pops apart. It falls apart as you're trying to transform it. I mean, we just had what is it? It's one of the primes that came out. Solus, the one with the hammer. How many parts pop off that thing, and how many people's like, I'm never going to transform this thing because it's an absolute nightmare. Like, there's no reason for them to not put a metal pin here or there. There's no reason for them to not fix the tolerance issues. Like, I know I watched that toy guy the other day, and he had did a review, I believe, of Air Raid. One of the guns fits just fine in one hand. The other gun does not fit worth a crap in the other hand. And I'm like, does nobody catch any of this? Does nobody pay any attention to any of this? It's complete BS. Like, the amount of money people are paying, like, Sideburn, I mean, how much did you pay for that HasLab? And you're going to have to live with a broken toy?
Yeah, was it $250?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. And like I said, the only reason I'm truly deciding to live with it is because I don't trust that they're not going to just send me the same tooling pushed out of a factory again that potentially would have worse breakage. So,
well, I agree with you on that, 100%.
I mean, think about this.
What they're going to send you.
Well, I mean,
and then people will be like, "Well, how long do you have to wait to get what you paid for? You're already talking a year. Now you're talking another 6 months, and they give you something wrong, and you do it again. I mean, come on."
And maybe a more sensible person would just get the refund if they would give it, right? But
yeah, but you backed it for a reason.
Yeah, I backed it because, I mean, it does, like, if I never transform this again, I would still be very happy with it. It's
sure, but cool. Is that what you were?
Yeah, now I would always be living with a knowledge that underneath this little plate here is breakage.
It's not even that. Is that what you were promised?
Yeah, no. And that's where a lot of people have been having problems with HasLab, in particular, especially in the Transformers. I don't know how it is for everybody else, but it's a premium product, and it feels like, to this day, they still are coming at designing these premium products that you have to pay up front for. They need to hit a sales number before they can produce it, and then they're producing it like it's a retail toy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, it's a premium toy. It has a higher threshold for what we will accept when you send it to us, and it can't come. Well, in this case, it's coming more broken than any retail toy has ever. It is a widespread problem. It is not like one of those where someone posted a picture because they're a ham-fisted gorilla, and if you're not careful about this one part, you'll rip it off, and so everyone else just transforms it gently like a normal person. This is, I opened the box, it was split.
That's the thing. Like, this is a crowdfund project for a multi-billion-dollar company that necessarily doesn't even need crowdfunding. This is we don't know if we have enough interest in this, so we're going to go ahead and put a poll out there. Well, why don't we just put a poll out there? Remember when we did fan vote stuff and it was mass-produced? Why can't they just go back to that? Realistic. At least
it's never been that they don't think that. It's never been that they don't think that fans don't have an interest. They don't think retailers have an interest.
Well,
but
retailers don't want to keep anything on a shelf anyway.
If retailers don't have the interest, and you want to do this and charge us premium prices, because let's be honest, this set actually seems pretty worth it. But there are other sets where it's like this set is more than I would pay retail for these sorts of things. This set is actually, I feel like, comes out if you add 2 leader classes together. You have this. This would be a deluxe figure, which I do. This is one of the coolest parts about this set. I really do like that they went and made Magnus's gun into one of the what did they call these?
Weaponizer.
Weaponizers, yeah.
Yes.
Into a weaponizer. This was a really cool. Like I actually really, when I transformed this thing, I was like, oh, this is actually really cool, because when as a kid, when you had that big hunk of a gun, and you had, you would just throw it off to the side when you weren't using it because it's just big and in the way. So having it turn into a robot, really cool idea.
Well, I mean, I think that definitely was, because I remember the original, and to get that piece, which flipped over and locked in and everything, you had to have him, stagnant in a pose to make it work and all that. Whereas this, you can do that, but then you can also make him into that. And then the other thing I watched is you can actually use him as a gap filler.
Yeah,
for the back
on legs, the back of the legs,
Ultra Magnus. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what? That's versatile. That's pretty cool. I got to give him props on that.
And the centerpiece of it, I think, goes inside Ultra Magnus's chest.
Well,
there's a matrix.
Yes, a matrix.
There is a matrix that defaults in Ultra Magnus. I think it's still in my Ultra Magnus somewhere. Yeah. It defaults in Ultra Magnus, but it can be taken out of Ultra Magnus, put into Optimus's chest and Super Mode, and it can also be put into Blue Bolt's chest. It fits in all 3 pots.
Yes. Yeah. Which I thought that was kind of genius, in my opinion. I thought it was, pretty good. I mean,
I don't think it fits into the sword.
No, yeah. I didn't hear where it fit into the sword, but I was actually kind of curious about the sword, because most of the reviews I saw kind of brushed over that.
Yeah, the sword, I think it breaks down to like 4 pieces or something like that. I don't know if it actually fits in the hand of a Brave Max.
The original one was, the top of the sword was the sword that was used by Fortress Maximus and Grand Maximus in the original series, but then they added that stick, and that's what you got. Was that a Japanese Toys R Us exclusive? But
didn't it come with? I
think so.
It came with. Didn't it come with Brave Max? Or
It did. It came with Brave Max too, but there was an RID original. I want to say it was the Japanese Toys R Us, where you could get the sword with it, and it was very, very rare.
Yeah, there was one that came out that had a sword.
Yeah, there was a set
more about that.
Because I think because it was like a set they released later. I think that had it. It was like an anniversary set or something.
Well,
like
there was a reissue I know that had come out with the two, but I don't know, did they come with the sword or not? Do you remember?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
I think
No, I don't really.
The reissue had
that. It was a pack. It was a combo pack.
Yeah. So I've never owned the sword from previous iterations. Like, the hilt comes apart in these little pieces. So I don't know. I don't know how it differs from the original. To be honest, because I've never owned it.
I mean, I don't. The only thing I can probably think of is the fact that it doesn't.
The hilt here splits. Yeah, it splits in half because it comes in 4 pieces. The sword is, or the top of the sword is on one piece, and then there's this stick,
that is different.
Yeah, and then the two hilts, the two sides of the hilt are separate, and they all kind of just squeeze together to.
Right.
The whole thing like sandwiches or something.
Yeah.
So,
and I was going to try to separate it, but it feels scary, so I'm not going to separate.
So the original was the pole at the bottom from the hilt down, separated, and then the hilt up to the black piece, separated from the colored piece, which on that one is purple.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it's separated. It's separated into 3 pieces. That was the original.
Yeah, that one's like sandwiched together.
They could do a red or a blue for Brave by changing the top piece only. And that's what they did. But the originals never came with that long piece. It was only a little nub to plug into their hand.
Oh yeah, these do come apart.
Yeah, it sandwiches together. That's how it.
Yeah, so like everything sort of comes together. But
well, this was just one piece.
Yeah.
Whereas that is like a lot of crap.
Where'd it go?
I'm telling you, there's probably a reason why it does it. I guarantee that those connect somewhere else.
It probably does. I wouldn't be surprised if it somehow attaches to like the wings or something when you have it in the super mode or something.
Let me ask you this much: when you went down there and found that in the like crack of the seat and everything, did you find some chips? Because that's what I usually do.
It was down on the floor, so there was a bunch of dog hair with it.
Oh, well, I get that too. I got 2, so.
Now, I am curious, and I don't think. I mean, obviously, you could just could have the Titan class Fortress Maximus probably just hold this because it has articulated hands. But right. I don't know if they actually designed this with any intention of working with that mold.
Well, I mean, it did come with a tiny little.
I have to try it.
The little Cerebros.
Yeah, because he's over here. Because I have off to the side, the classic.
All right,
but yes,
I have to ask.
Cerebros does fit into his little little seat that was always on the side of the.
Yeah, that served
ladder
that purpose before.
Yeah, they made it fit a Titan Master.
What is the name of the little Ultramagnus gun thing that you showed?
Blue bolts. Blue bolts.
Can you show him holding that sword?
Can you holding this sword?
Yeah. Does he have hands?
Blue bolts even have hands? I think it's just guns.
He doesn't have hands.
Really?
Yeah. The just.
Yeah, she doesn't have hands.
Missed opportunity right there.
Yeah.
Like you could maybe.
I mean, being a weaponizer, you can build it.
You could do some tomfoolery to make it work.
Have him hug it. There you go.
Or maybe just take one of the gun hands off and just put the sword on the end.
Does it plug in? Are the ports even compatible?
Well, that's why I was wondering. There's on this side, there's like the little peg, and then there are these like round indention looking things, these like hexagonal indentions, but I don't think they're properly. Actually,
No, that was probably cost effective right there.
Actually, hold on a second. Let me swap the arms.
Oh my God!
Hey, it might actually
we may
work.
discover a new mode here.
Well, that's kind of the point of the weaponizers. They just break down into just bits, and you can kind of do whatever you want
They
with
just
them.
do whatever. Who cares?
I mean, I thought it was a fun play pattern. Always have. So I used to have Cog and what is it? The one for Triptychon. I know.
Brunt.
Brunt. Yeah, I used to have both of those at one time. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, don't get me started about Triptychon.
Oh, with
Or even Metroplex, both of those. Bad stories. Bad stories.
Well, the hips being busted on the first releases of the Titan one. You're talking about that one?
Stupid decisions.
Oh.
I had to modify that figure too.
Oh yeah, you had to take it apart and fix the springs.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shred itself apart. From what I heard, the reissue, the one that's come out, well, I'm going to call it a reissue. I know some people call it redeco, whatever you want to call it. The black version has been fixed. It's got the fixed hips. So
there we go. She's holding it without my assistance.
Okay, cool. So those little ports do work. All right.
I like it.
They're a little shallow because there's these like hexagonal, but they do more or less
kind of
fit. More or less fit the 5mm peg.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're 5mm. Yeah.
So this little hole right here does fit them. It's just kind of shallow, so the weight does kind of just pull it off the pegs. But it does work. I got it to work for a few seconds before it fell off.
So
but I swapped around the hands because they have these.
Right. But what you're telling me is that the hole fit, right?
Yes, the peg fit in the hole.
The hole fit, good. Even for a few seconds, the hole fit. Gotcha.
Yeah.
At least it's something you can do with it instead of just set it off to the side when you're not. When you have them in vehicle mode, I mean, there's really no place to store that sword that I know of, that I've seen anyway. Yeah.
Honestly, I just wanted to see that with the sword to see what it looked like, and I was like, all right, makes sense.
Yeah,
good.
Now, from what I heard, the vehicle, like the front part of Optimus Prime, actually attaches to the rear in fire truck mode a lot better, because the vintage one, the old one, would actually kind of almost separate or fall apart as you try to pick it up. The new one, you can kind of just do this.
The old one was dependent upon the hands and the side pieces.
Well, this does a similar thing, but it's got tabs.
Ultra Magnus was dependent upon the hands and the side pieces.
That's the thing with this release is, a lot of the same ideas used, but what
better
they engineered into it is it all plugs together and holds together. So the fire truck, it holds together better. Ultra Magnus's vehicle mode holds together.
Like they took those designs and just made them better.
Both robot modes aren't floppy. You can power mode Optimus Prime, if you have him in your hand and you're doing this with him, or super mode, when he's in a super mode, his feet aren't going to fly off, nothing's going to fly off.
I saw on a review in the combined mode that the ears locked in to certain places. Is that true?
Well, I heard they were separate in the box, weren't they, when you got it?
Yeah, they're separate. So
but they come in by like a tab or whatever.
They come like this, and there is I don't know if I can actually really. There's like a raised section on this. Magnet? No, that's just it's just a peg.
So it's a plug. Okay.
Yeah, there's like a raised section there that kind of tabs into a spot. It tabs into a or actually, yeah, I guess. You can, so you can see here, I have it tabbed in 2 different spots. So you can have it tabbed sort of up, more back like it should be, in robot mode. But yeah, it seems like it has a few spots where it'll kind of plug in and hold solidly.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Those come separate, and those peg in and hold in very well. I will say one of my biggest complaints about the whole entire set, besides all that, is on my original Optimus Prime, I lost one of his light bars, which weren't terribly hard to pop off, but
they do pop off.
They do pop off, and I lost one. They are a million times worse on the figure.
Really?
You might as well, when you're transforming it or ever even handling it, take those suckers off and set them aside, because they're going to fall off 3 million times. So that is an area where this figure is worse than the originals for sure. But everything else just really, because this backpack, Ultra Magnus's backpack, the way this folds up and pegs into everything is just so much nicer than the original.
I know the wings stick out more though than the original too.
Yeah, and if you remember how you transformed,
less backpack but tighter.
Yeah, and if you remember how on the original Mega Prime, you flip Ultra Magnus's head over and it just kind of just lays back there, which is kind of what it do, but it fits into this area and it sort of folds down in like this, and then another part covers it up, so you can't even tell that Ultra Magnus's head is anywhere in there. And it's just a lot of things that make it a very similar package, but make it a neater package. And
well,
it's all you can really ask for from those old.
Some people were griping about the fact that in that combined mode, right in front of the head, there's this big gap.
Yeah, that is the. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, that gap right there.
Really could just made a flap cover that.
Yeah, and the original had one.
Blue bolts, and you're supposed to take Blue Bolts' torso.
The original,
and it fits down in there to fill it.
I'm getting to that.
And the original had a flap. And
yes,
the big thing they did here for this transformation is this all hinges back when you transform it. So you hinge it back and make it flush, which is why there's no that pops up with his head that fills up that gap. I'm one of the people that's not ever really super bothered by gaps, so long as so long as it's not
if you remember the original, it had gaps, not necessarily there, but it still had gaps. I mean,
so long as from most angles you don't see big old gaps in it, right?
Yeah, what's it called? Blue
bolt.
Yeah, you can take him and plug him into that to, I'm going to say, lessen the gaps.
Yeah, it kind of fills it in.
But you can lessen it. But he will actually fit in the chest portion. It literally is like the chest portion of Blue Bolt. And it plugs in and fills that out.
Yeah, I also heard that on the front chest piece, unlike the original, those wing pieces actually will hold position, because the original they would just flop around everywhere. And the same with was it like the wheel shoulder bits are more stable on this versus what the original was.
Everything is definitely more less floppy. I mean,
I mean,
Right.
it's a better toy.
Things on the original one, things to be flopping around all over the place right there when I was doing that. But
Right. I mean, it's a better toy. The problem is that for the price, is it a good toy? I think yes.
it should have been a
But-
perfect toy.
But with
quality
the
control.
quality control, no.
No.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Would I pay X amount of dollars for that if it was perfect? Yeah, why not? Sure, it's worth it.
Right.
But we keep running into these issues. And that's kind of what leads me into another thing I wanted to talk about is Leo Kaiser and future Pulse exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've already had how many failures? And I'm sorry, but if you have quality control issues on a product that is widespread, that's a failure on that product. And we've had at least two.
Yeah, like so that because there was there was issues with Star Saber.
Yes, the chest.
Yeah, and Death Stars was seemed to mostly not have problems, right?
Yeah, I don't think Death
My-
Stars.
I
had
think
hardly
that
any
one-
issues
That one was
for-
okay. That one was okay.
And there was nothing necessarily wrong with the engineering or with like the quality of Unicron. It just sucked.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of panel forming, and
Yeah.
I saw like there's a third party thing out there, and I think it's also like a 3D printed deal that makes it so you can take all those planet parts off of him and actually form the planet, and you can put the planet
Yeah, but you
literally next to
can't-
him.
You can't hold that against it.
No, I mean it's the engineering of it.
If it was made to do this and it does this, it's fine.
Yeah.
If it was made to do this and it breaks or have issue doing that, that's the issue.
Right.
So, out of what 3, we've had 2 that have issues. Moving forward, yes, I back Leo Kaiser. Yes, I can't wait for it. Yes, why the heck don't I have it right now? Give it to me now. Yes, I'm impatient. I get that.
Well, this
But-
is my question.
Understand,
Kaiser has a lot of
understand
white.
that they have quality control issues. 50%.
Yeah.
So,
good,
I mean, honestly, and yes, I'm going to
And
tell
in
you
both
to do
instances,
something
they
that I
were
don't
pretty
do.
widespread.
Well, I'm going to tell you to do something I don't do. Don't play into this. If they're not meeting your expectations, don't back them. And yes, I just backed them. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm sorry,
would-
but yeah, I mean, you, the only way you can vote is just like if you go out and vote. With companies, you vote with your money.
would you take it back to after seeing the quality control of Omega Prime? Because you backed it before Omega Prime was, coming out.
I mean,
right?
yeah, it was
'Cause
back
the
before Mega Prime was even released to everybody.
Would
I
that
never
change your mind? That like the next HasLab, if it's something that you're interested in, is this going to make you hesitate to even think about buying it?
Let me put you this way: when that one came out, I did not back it. Did I back Leo Kaiser? Yes.
Well, if this had come out, was in people's hands, and you saw the quality control issues, would you have backed Leo Kaiser? Because you didn't have that option,
Man,
right?
I don't know. I'm just being honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably yeah, But in the back of my mind, I'd be like, look, man, like 2-0. You know, they yeah. But I can tell you, moving forward, if they keep doing these zeros, there's going to be people that be like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not going to put the effort into making the quality what we pay for, why should I back you? And I think, when you're going to find that out is when their goals do not get met.
Yep.
And you'll see it. I guarantee you'll see it. They have like 4 tiers. All of a sudden, it'll be 3 were met. 2, 1, boom, not funded. It's going to happen. If you continue to chill out, less than stellar quality for a high price, it's going to dwindle.
Well, I mean, that's happened already. They've already tried to, what was it, that Star Wars Cantina? They had it where you could get like an expansion, like it basically makes an entire cantina instead of just half of it. It only got backed enough to have half because nobody wanted that enormous thing. And honestly, what they really wanted was the figures. And it didn't even get up to the tier of the last figure either.
They do not compare Star Wars fans to anyone else. All right?
Yeah, because Disney blames the fans for Star Wars to fail.
I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm telling you, they're the most craziest people in the world. And I thought G.I. Joe fans were crazy. Star Wars, oh my God, they're nuts. And what I mean by that is if you have the perfect figure,
it's never good enough. Did he fall off?
Yeah, we seem to have lost him.
The heck? Welcome to the Transformers, fandom where we get a bunch of cool stuff, but it's never good enough. And my problem is just with quality, honestly. Like, it's not the type of toys. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the BS quality. Like,
I said, like, all they had to do. I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Like, I assume that they got like one production. They had to have gotten production samples.
I mean, they're the ones that designed it. There's no.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to, because part of me is trying to, think like, are they just sending the CAD files off or something like that, and they're just running, and not, but they had to have gotten production samples, and it's like, how are the tolerances so different from the production samples to what they have now? Because this isn't a, like, because everyone's gotten that acceptable miss off of the production line, right? Like, you open it up, 30 out of, or 2 out of 30 figures has a production problem, it's,
right. Called quality.
This
control.
Isn't that. Yeah, this is like. This seems like it's
half.
More spread. It's like, half or probably even more than half. Like, just some of it's internal. Some people's broke internally and they don't see it externally, right?
Well, that's the thing, and some people
like me who got external breaks.
And some people probably won't even know that until they actually start messing with it more. And like, it's that whole thing. Like I said, this is an exclusive club you're paying into. This might not be the actual Transformers Collectors Club anymore, but you're backing HasLab, which is literally giving you a toy that is retail quality that should be premium. It's there's really no excuse for it. I mean, like you said, prototypes I can understand, and a lot of it to me boils down to where they're being manufactured at. Because if you look at Playmates owns their factories. They have 100% control over that. Hasbro has bounced around saying, oh, well, have these people do it, have these people do it, have these people do it. It's like the same thing in the 80s where how many of those toys came out where they actually had to strip the lead paint off and then use whatever paint. That's why you had those Optimus Primes with red feet in Europe, because they had to strip the blue paint off and repaint it red because it's the only paint they had. Like, it's been a problem ever since years ago. Like, it's just consistently happening. And my question to everybody that's watching this, are you guys going to back the next HasLab after all this conundrum that's gone on? Like, how much money are you guys willing to throw out for a subpar toy to buy into an exclusive club just to turn around and have it yellowed, falling apart, breaking, or something like that later on? Or even receiving it busted? Like, I want to know how many of you guys are really going to truly want to back that kind of thing. Because this is just bad practice. I know us fans love our toys, but it's just bad practice, and we're literally just, we're enabling it. Point the face it, we're enabling it. That's what we're doing.
I won't back it unless it's Magnabus, and then I have to.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's I mean, for the most part, that is, yeah. Because I have a very narrow focus on mostly on Beast Wars stuff, and you know, I got very lucky that during that Kingdom time frame, pretty much all of the Beast Wars figures were not problematic. I think Cheetor had some breakage, but I've not had any breakage on any of my Cheetors. There was a lot of other figures coming out during those times. You had like Rapple, Inferno. They had breakage. You had all these figures that were having breakage, and I was like, I'm glad I don't collect all this stuff, because while it looks cool, it looks neat, it always seems to be mechanical problems as a result of poor construction. That's always what's breaking things. Sometimes it's a poorly designed, they decided to use way too long of a peg and something that you need to pull out to transform it. Because I think that was the big thing with like Grapple and Inferno, is they would rip a peg right off the plastic because of the tolerances. But yeah, it was it's just like I would always be worried if I was buying figures all the time like I used to, with the current production. It just seems like you're always gambling. I mean, and with these premium figures, you shouldn't be gambling. You should be getting that extra care. They should be taking that extra care to not send out a massive amount of figures with failure rates, you know.
Right. I mean, it'd be different if it was like the Trypticon that came out where it would shred its joints loose, the Titan one, because it was a mass-produced toy. But when it's not a mass-produced toy, it shouldn't be like that. Like, did you hear of anything coming out like Transformers Collectors Club or BotCon where it came out subpar, broken, messed up? And those were short runs. Those are not... Like, I can't remember any having a major issue.
Not at the start. I mean, it's all things that are related to other issues later on. Like, I think there was that original combiner that was all clear plastic. I think that has a lot of cracking in it. Every clear plastic or clear plastic figure has breaking in it. And then you had the Dinobot from the Dawn of Future Past set that is gold plastic. But yeah, I can't think of it. There's probably an example. Brett might be able to think of it.
First of all, I hate this crap.
You gotta spend. You gotta get a new PC, man.
Yeah.
You just give me a link. Give me a link. I'll click on it. I'm here. Don't make me go whatever. And yes, my computer is like 10 plus years old, and it said, I'm done.
But anyway,
Are you still using the same computer from our the past podcast?
I've had this computer for over 10 years.
Because if you're still, because I think you were saying it was a 10-year-old computer back then. So.
Yeah, it's. Hey, look, I got my money out of it. All right, I'm sorry. You can say what you want about Mac, but guess what? They last.
I'm not complaining. I own 3 PCs and a Mac. My MacBook had died because I had used it so much in rendering it literally burnt out the video card. But that's the thing. It depends on how heavy you use them too.
Hey, I mean, that's great, but it kind of sounds like your Mac is like that.
Yeah, it's on the end.
22-year-old Chihuahua that you have to push his eye back in every now and then.
Hang on.
It shouldn't be alive anymore, but it still is.
Hang on. Hang on. Rub my hands together. Hang on a minute.
Let's not knock Deadpool's dog. That dog's cute.
Hang on. Hang on. If you would like to give to the foundation in order to give me, a better computer, please give to me. Message me. I can tell you how to give to me. Give me money. I'll take the money. I'll get a better computer. This brought to you by the best people in Cybertron. Thank you.
All
right, so what we were talking about,
we should start a Ko-fi or something like that.
We're talking about quality control,
new computer.
And we were referring to what had been done in the past about exclusive stuff. Do you remember any Transformers Collectors Club and or BotCon or any of those type of exclusive toys that you had to buy, any of those having major quality control problems? Because I can't think of any that had that big of an issue.
No, I can think of. No, sorry. There's 2, but one I can think of. How's that?
Okay.
So when we did the 2016 set, which was Predicate, and Pterosaur was supposed to come with the foot, and it didn't. So that was a control issue. The foot was not included with the figure, which it should have been. And then later they sent you the foot.
Did it cost
That's
anything?
No, we they if you responded, they sent it. It's kind of like
figure at all. Right.
It really didn't, but it was still an accessory that should have come with the figure, so you did. Way back before me, there was
OTFCC,
EP, whatever. Yeah. And they had the what was that called? Sentinel Maximus.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that Fun Pub eventually released.
No.
No?
So Sentinel Maximus was a figure that OTFCC said that they were going to have for the show, and you bought it in advance, and then it didn't make it. So then they said they would mail it to you. What happened is, according to them, once again, not associated with anything going on now, they said they lost the list of people and addresses. So at the next show, they had a little booth set up.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if you went over there, they said, "Did you sign up for this?" It was a good faith. If you said, "Yeah," you got it. If you said, "Yeah," you didn't buy it, you got it. Whatever. And they said, "Write your name and address down, and we'll give you a free toy," which they did.
Now, Mike Boyle says BotCon 2002 Cyclonus had a chrome paint issue.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, everything had a chrome paint issue back then.
A vac metal's a pain in the butt to deal with anyway.
Back metal was definitely an issue.
The unsealed vac metal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how much flakes I have in all my collection.
I
Just got a
had
bucket in the corner.
I had a transmetal rat trap sealed that looked like a snow globe. You could shake it and it would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have some fantastic examples of transmetal,
Yeah.
and then I have some awful ones. Like my TM2 Scourge. Just every time I touch it, more vac metal falls off. It's just.
Now here's the funny part.
Awful.
I'm going to tell you something funny. What are those called? The 12-inch Marvel and DC.
Are you talking about the
Marvel
Legends?
Legends?
No, these are 12-inch. These are the expensive ones.
Oh, okay. Hot Toys?
That's it. Hot Toys.
Okay.
So, I have a lot of them. Okay,
Mhm.
I have a. It was for the first Avenger, Captain America, where he's in the battle fatigues, the leather jacket, and he's got the shield.
Mhm.
Okay. I was like, man, that shield is dirty. So I took a damp cloth and wiped it. Took all the paint off. Just right off.
I'm sorry.
And Hot Toys
Oh,
are really
no, I would-
expensive.
I was so mad.
I would be so
Yeah.
upset.
So it's really not just Hasbro. It's just, I hate to tell you guys, but it's time. It's time. Time screws everything up.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
there are some Ninja Turtle figures that have issues with vac metal too. Like the, and there was like the metal version of like Rocksteady and Bebop. There's also a Foot Soldier. Some of those tend to flake over time as well. But I think that was just an overall problem with vac metal's process in general, because that even happened, like I said, like in the 90s. But when it comes to an exclusive toy,
I mean,
like
I
we've
paid like
seen, people.
like $300 for this thing on thing. I was not happy.
Yeah.
But was it mass?
No.
It's what Hot Toys is what a by order basis, wasn't it? You had to actually just order
No.
it online.
No, they released a certain quantity.
It's a limited run, but it's like
It is, but it's like 2,000 or
probably
3,000.
10. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Something
I
like
mean, still, yeah, I was legitimately pissed. Sorry, but yeah, I was.
Yeah.
that. I mean, yeah. That there's a thing with high-end collectibles is there's a certain level of, but this doesn't excuse the shield because that just sounds like it was terribly made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
was
there's like a
Sorry.
there's a certain level of with the high-end collectible stuff that I feel like a lot of people don't understand is that they are not made to be handled like toys.
Mhm.
They're made to be used as a collectible, displayed as a collectible, not
Sure.
not overly handled.
Right.
And that gets a lot of people, but at the same time, there's also, like you said, just time. I feel like every single one of us has probably picked up a like 15 or 16-year-old figure, been like, I haven't checked out this guy in a long time.
Yep.
Yep.
What?
All right.
Yep.
Two
No.
two things on that. Hang on.
Yeah.
So for Hot Toys, I have the Hot Toys Joker, the Heath Ledger one, and I got it out of the box, and it has if you know what a butterfly knife is, it comes with a butterfly knife, and it broke. And I was like, all right, that's kind of a QC. I get that. Now, fast forward. I'm trying to look at the figure, see if I can find it. Yes, Masterpiece, Transformers Masterpiece, Sunstreaker. He has little panels that flip along his lower legs. And I was like, I haven't messed with this thing in like years. Let me go ahead. Put it down, started to transform, flip those panels, snapped right off. Yeah.
It's
wasn't in the sun. It wasn't in the sun. It's just been sitting here.
And I find it's kind of funny because I've handled a lot of knockoffs in my collection time, and I know Brett has as well. I'm pretty sure Michael's probably messed with some KOs every now and then. I've messed with some knockoffs that actually hold together better than official product.
Oh, absolutely.
And not made by a third-party company. Literally something that was made out of Korea or something, and holds up so much better. I had one time I had a knockoff of Deathsaurus, G1 Deathsaurus, had the chest pieces and everything. The original one I know has like a spring in there that's supposed to push him back out.
Right.
That spring over time just becomes really temperamental. The one in my knockoff worked absolutely flawlessly, consistently. Never once had an issue with it. And it also had vac metal. It didn't flake. And it was an amazing piece.
So, Leo Kaiser is being sent out, hopefully, for the end of this year, by Hasbro Pulse, correct?
Probably at the... I'll be honest with you, you probably won't see it till at the beginning of next year.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably looking at the same time frame as...
It takes about a year and like a couple months before it
Sure,
pops.
but we're going to get it. It's based on the G1. The G1 has a figure called Kill Bison. What color is Kill Bison?
Gold and white.
And what was happening around that time frame, the late 80s, early 90s, with gold plastic?
It was disintegrating.
Yes. So if you bought the Japanese Leo Kaiser or just Kill Bison by himself, because it was available individually as well as gift set, you would deal with that. Well, Taiwan made a knockoff. Same time. Guess what? No gold plastic syndrome. I'm sorry, it wasn't Taiwan. It was China.
Yeah.
China made it. And it has no gold plastic syndrome.
Yeah, I've actually handled a few smaller, actually downscaled versions of that toy as well. They got one where it's like replaced the Hellbat with a double dealer mold.
Yes, yeah.
Kill Bison, and that's just fine. It's also gold.
Yeah, but that's like a one. That's like a 1/3 scale.
Right, but I mean, I'm just saying that they use gold plastic as well for the Kill Bison and that, and never once had an issue with it either.
So, since we're on the subject, I mean, let's face it. Right now, Leo Kaiser, everyone backed it. It's here, whatever. There were 3 different versions. There was the Japanese, there was the Chinese, and then there was the knockoff. And I really, to the life of me, cannot remember the knockoff. It was called Testa something. But there were 3. The official Japanese is the only one that suffers from gold plastic syndrome.
Yeah, it's the way they mixed the plastics back then, and it had a little metallic flake. Now this is my question.
You were saying that when is a knockoff worth more than an original? To me, there you go. It's better. It's improved. But it's a knockoff.
Sideburn, do you ever get a hold of anything that's a knockoff that was better than the original?
Oh, I got another one too, but go ahead.
No, I've not had a lot. Like, I had a few, I grew up in the Easter Basket Transformer knockoff, time frame.
Hey, those were awesome. I love those things.
I think I had like the Big Lots Superion. I had the Big Lots had this line of knockoffs where I got a rat trap, and it had like this little weird clear alien figure that came with it. That rat trap was horrible. It didn't even work. But that was the only rat trap I had for the longest time until I found one at MegaCon. But yeah, I haven't dabbled a lot in the KOs. There's been ones I wanted, like, I always wanted to get that, or one of the ones that I would pick up if I found it at a convention would be like the smaller scale depth charge. That one was always a cool one. But I haven't dabbled in KOs very much.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how Beast Wars doesn't get as many KOs as everybody else has.
Well, yes and no.
I mean, I kind of have some.
I was not willing to buy into the Masterpiece Megatron. And I'll start with the G1. I was not willing to buy into it. I thought after they got over $200, I thought this is too high. And then they made a knockoff of the G1. And it came with the extra chest pieces. And they came with a back piece, a filler. And I was like, I'm on board. So yes, I have a knockoff in my collection.
Yeah, I thought about
it. Looks so good.
Thought about getting a knockoff of the Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron, because my Beast Wars Megatron has that cracking issue in the waist.
Yeah, that was my next thing. So yes, did I buy an official Beast Wars Megatron? I did. Okay, but mine was fine. And then I heard of the issues, and then all of a sudden there was this knockoff. And guess what? It solved the issues. So I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't like knockoffs, but you know what? I get it. It's your toy.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different.
Do it. I don't care.
The knockoff landscape is definitely very different from
it's stronger. It
from the
just
past.
is.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was a kid. Again, the Easter baskets. I remember there was a Transmetals 2 knockoff of Megatron. I remember seeing that for years at Easter time, and I was like, "What is this?" I never got it, but I remember going through those Easter basket aisles and seeing those knockoffs, and some of them were wild.
I mean, I kind of get sad around Easter time now, because I was all growing up with the Easter basket thing. That was 2000-ish and such, and I was always trying to get those. And now every time like Easter goes around now, I just get sad because I'll never see that stuff again. I'm just like, I loved buying those
there's like
because they make perfect customization and stuff.
There's like cheap toys and cheap trucks and stuff like
it's
that.
not what it was.
Never those KO Transformers like back in the lawless days of the
Get you a full
90s.
Devastator in a box.
Let's face it. In the 80s, you had Hasbro, you had Tonka, you had Remco, you had 4-Star, you had all this stuff. Everyone was trying to do the same thing and reinventing it to make it sellable. Okay, it wasn't about if it made sense. It was, is it sellable? And man, there was some good stuff.
Like the 4-Star jet.
We could actually do a whole segment on just, the weird stuff that came out of the 80s.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just G2, which I get it. You had Hasbro trying to reinvent itself and doing the G2. That's cool. No problem. But you had these other companies that just were striving to compete, and they did stuff. So you got, Mr. Tank, Mr. whatever, Mr. Hard Hat. I mean, the names were stupid. They were dumb. We're not even, and trust me, I love GoBots.
You even had Buddy L in the mix that was making pullback robots. So it was like the Motobots and the Dinobots. Those were really cool, I mean, too.
Even GoBots, if you listen to their names, you had Psycho, Leader One, Turbo, Scooter. It kind of described what they were. It was a generic, when you tell someone, I have a Transformer that's Scooter, what do you think he transforms into? You're like, oh, Scooter. Yeah, I guess a Scooter. Yeah, you're right. I have a Transformer that is Prowl. What's he transform into?
A kitty.
I don't know, a cat, a police car, I don't know. So they really, everyone hates on GoBots, but honestly, GoBots were like, we're going to take the idea and simplify it.
It's like they called one was Dive. What do you think he turned into? A freaking submarine. Like, come on, it's perfect.
He dives. Yeah. So then you take that and you go a step further with the knockoffs, and you're like,
Submarine Man.
Yeah, Mr. Hard Hat.
What was the name of the Titanic? Was it literally called the Titanic bot or something like that? It's like a wind-up Titanic transforming robot. It's the funniest thing in the world. I think
that was in the mid-90s. That was the mid-90s, and it was a horrible toy. But it literally was the Titanic that transformed into a robot, and they called it the Titanic. I mean...
But how was the quality control on it?
I never had one. I
from
never
what
did.
I've seen, from all the reviews I've seen, I haven't once seen anybody complain about the quality control on it. Like, being
honestly,
bad. Like having
now,
sharp edges or, like not every KO is that way, but,
No, but here's the test of times.
Mike Boyle says he has one. He says it's great.
Yeah, how about this? If you Google, go to eBay. I know, scary. Evil Bay, whatever you want to call it. Go there and look at them. Guess what? They still sell. They sell for good money. You know why? They stand up. They're okay. Might be stupid. Don't care. they have the quality.
Well,
that kind of brings us around to what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. We're talking about 80s and 90s toys that stand the test of time. And Mike, you just got a toy, not even a week later, has issues. What?
Technically, it had issues before it got to me. Because it was broken when I got it.
I'm saying, that's BS. Come on.
Really? Yeah, that's what it boils down to. Like, I don't want to really end everything on a negative note around here, but it's like, guys, be aware of what you're backing. If you really want a toy, like, say you want that Omega Prime, maybe you could have took the $250 and just bought the original. Yeah, maybe a little floppy and a little flawed, but you're not going to run into half the quality controls. Yeah, split tires happen, but there's people out there that make reproductions.
You probably won't have any rubber wheels,
right? But there are people that make reproduction wheels for them, and you'll pay even less than you will backing a project that you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, think hard about backing the next HasLab unless it's Magnaboss. Then please back it.
I'm going to go the different route. I'm going to say if they are talking about something that you want, back it. Absolutely. If they produce what you want and you spend money, that's okay. It's what you wanted to do. I set aside this money for this toy. But if the product you get is not what they say, and I'm not even going to say what you expected. I'm going to say, if the product they send you is not what they say, you need to, I want a refund. You need to fix this. Yep. Don't be the people that just, I'll live with it. No, you're not doing a service to everyone else. If you're not satisfied, you explain why. If it's valid, you'll find out that other people are also valid, and that adds to the claim. They need to fix it.
I mean,
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's your money. Spend it however you want. But if they tell you they're going to sell you something and they don't deliver, hold them accountable for it.
Exactly. And I understand why they're like, in Sideburn's case, if he wanted a new one, he has to pack it up and send it back instead of sending replacement parts, because if they sent replacement parts, then it's in the hands of the customer to fix the problem, and in their eyes, it's a liability. And my thing is, don't put out product you guys can't back. That's my whole argument to this whole situation.
Well, first and foremost, yes. They are making promises on stuff they can't deliver. Get it. But I'm telling you, the other thing I have a problem with is if I bought something, why should I have to send it to you to fix it? Okay? I would rather you send me the replacement parts so I still have the product in hand to fix it.
Well, the thing is, they're not going to do that. What they're going to do is they're going to take the ones that they have had refunded, and they're probably just going to pitch them and turn right back around and send a whole brand new case to that person.
No, worse than that.
That's more than likely what they're going to do.
What they're going to do is they're going to give you the same thing off the assembly line to you, and then what they're going to do is they're going to take your defective toy and sell it to someone else at a reduced price because they can make money. And that is wrong. Yeah. That's BS. But guess what? That's what they do.
And when it boils down to it, if you guys want the toy, cool, buy it. If you guys don't want to deal with the headache, Just avoid it. No, and the thing is with this whole fear of missing out thing, honestly, really, really think about what you're missing out on. Is it going to cost a little bit more money in the long run to wait on something? I mean, look at HasLab Unicron. How many people bought it, but then they turn around and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't have room for it." I had to turn around and sell it. You know, yeah, it's more expensive, but at least at that point, you know what you're buying. You know if there's any issues with it. You're not dealing with the fact of, oh, well, it's going to be defective. Now, this alleviates that whole worry. If you really think you're not going to end up getting hold of the correct toy, you probably should analyze the situation first. Don't toss the money and then hope it's going to fall out of the sky and not be broken or crush your dreams because it doesn't work the way you wanted it to. Sometimes waiting is better.
Well, I'm going to be the mean guy. Okay? It depends on what you want to do. If you are buying toys because you enjoy them, and that's that, you're fine. If you back a toy because you think you can make money off of it, and you buy like 2 or 3 of them or whatever, and trust me, yes, I've done that. Okay? Be mad at me, whatever. Yes, I've done that. I have bought toys knowing that I bought 3, hoping 2 will pay for the third one. And yeah, it happens. So I'm not a big fan of the Hasbro Pulse backing, but I kind of get it. They want to make sure there's backing before they do this toy that might be obscure. And you say, well, why wouldn't they make that mass media and do this, that, and the other? I mean, how many people know what a Death Source is? Or a Leo Kaiser is? You're really not going to get those unless they know you're going to back it.
But that's where, remember back when they used to do the fan vote stuff, before they even started this, they easily could have done fan vote for a lot of this, and it would have happened.
No, fan vote never worked. Never. Because the people that were talking about what they wanted never supported what they got. So this was more of a put your money where your mouth is type thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm okay with it. But when you get, you do these goals. You know, if we get 10,000, we're here. We're at 12,000, we're here. Whatever. When you reach those goals, you should have into mind the quality of the product that people are getting at that price point. And that's where I have an issue.
Yep.
You know, with Mike having problems with his and everyone else. That should never happen when you, guess what? I'm really trying to censor myself here. Guess what? You have the money. You got the money. Why didn't you make what you promised me? Simple as that.
And that's the whole issue with this whole situation. And hopefully Lyle Kaiser doesn't have yellowing and any issues with anything. I mean, I really hope
right now.
They are really looking at this whole situation with this Omega Prime having QC issues, that they're going to double up on their QC control, because I have a feeling if this Lyle Kaiser doesn't do well, probably every HasLab after that's going to tank.
Well, I'll say this much, and to everyone out there, 2, 3, 4, whatever, it doesn't matter. Everyone, contact. It's not Takara really; it's Hasbro, and tell them, look, these are the issues we're having. Fix it before you release this toy. Fix it. And maybe if they say, well, maybe we need to look at quality of plastic, the tolerances, whatever. Because ultimately, what I want, I don't want a toy that I can bash Hasbro. I want a toy that I go, dude, this is amazing.
Uh-huh.
This is exactly what I wanted, and it is amazing. That's what people want.
It's very true. I mean, that's the thing. I agree with you on that, on the fact that they need to put out what they should be producing and stop not. If they don't want to produce that anymore, sell the license to somebody else, much like they have with Loyal Subject with Mask, because they own the IP. They have someone else manufacturing the toy. Just give someone else the IP that's going to do the job right. Don't sit around and dance around the fire and not do anything to help the situation.
Let me ask you something.
Other than throw it in the fire and let it burn.
When was the last time you bought a toy simply because it said Hasbro? Never.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hmm?
If I like the toy, I buy the toy.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, when we collect Transformers, we don't collect Hasbro Transformers.
Right.
Well, I mean, we collect official Transformers. It doesn't have to be Hasbro Transformers, right? There's
understand. If Hasbro wants us to buy Hasbro, they need to make them the way we want them.
Yep.
Because there is 20 years ago we would have a different argument that kids prop up the franchise, but that's not true anymore. It's collectors.
Yep.
And we shouldn't have worse production, and we shouldn't have these issues. These issues that are caused by treating it like a mass production kids toy, when the reality is that your line is propped up by collectors at this point. It's not propped up by children.
Yeah, it's backed by collectors. It should be collection quality.
Let me ask you this. As a child, we have what I call pops. Are Transformers licensed through Pops? Yes. Are Transformers licensed through plushies?
Yep.
Yes. I mean, I'm trying to wrap this around. Basically, what I'm saying is that there's other avenues of the Transformers lore that's not Hasbro. Because Hasbro licensed it out.
Which, to be honest, isn't a bad thing sometimes.
What's the crap? The kits.
Flame toys or yeah.
Blockies?
Flame toys.
Blockies is one. There's another.
Yellow
It's
Park.
It's flame toys. There's also Yellow Park. Yeah.
There's Flame Toys and there's another.
Yellow Park.
So
Yeah.
Yellow Park. That's it. So all those, they license those out, and they get the product out in this center. For me, honestly, what I think is Why? Are you that bad that you have to license your product out to other people to make money?
It's because, honestly, if you look at how many IPs Hasbro's bought since they started their IP monopoly, as I like to call it,
You're
there are
correct.
a lot that they have that are literally sitting in a vault that are rotting away and
Yeah.
won't ever see the light of day. And Gem is actually one of them. There's, them relicensing Gem dolls because they sent the IP to loyal subjects. Here, guys, make the Gem dolls. We don't want anything to do with this, but we'll just get a cut off the top because it's our license. What Hasbro just needs to straight do, and I've said this for quite some time now, they just need to be an IP licensing company. Wipe their hands clean of designing them, manufacturing them, or anything. Let someone else do the work. Because they obviously don't want to bring it to the table like they used to do. If they want to hang on the IPs, fine. But don't sit there and expect people to keep backing an HasLab exclusive and it be subpar.
Two things on that. No, they should not just give it up.
Why? They're not doing what everybody wants anymore.
As we said before, look at Star Wars and Disney. We get all this crap going 6 different directions. If they focus and they keep it, it's more cohesive.
Well, that works.
In my opinion.
That works if you're Playmates. That works if you're Playmates. Because Playmates owns their own factories. When has Hasbro owned their last factory?
The name, the brand,
right,
needs to be linear.
Well,
and if you give that to other licensees, they can move it in other directions.
Well, I mean, that's what
if that makes sense.
That's what essentially they're doing. The thing is,
right. I think it's wrong.
When has Hasbro last owned their own factory? I can't remember them ever owning their own factory because even G1 was made in several different countries.
In what was that? Not New Jersey. Crap. Oh, Rhode Island. Rhode Island, they owned a factory.
They make Transformers out of there, though.
Correct.
I've never seen a Transformer stamped Rhode Island.
That's not how they do it.
But you see what I'm getting at. Like, owning your own factory
even if something is made in the United States, it was manufactured and produced in Japan, it's going to have a Japanese stamp.
Right, I understand that. What I'm getting at is the manufacturing stamp. How many times do we get a Transformer stamped China, Malaysia, Taiwan?
Like you could do Japan, you could do China, you can do Taiwan, you can do
Malaysia.
No, the other one that's
Singapore,
yeah.
No. Crap. No.
Did you want me to start listen to all the Southeast Asian countries? Philippines?
Korean. That's it.
Korean, yeah.
Korean. They outsource the work to produce their product.
Hence where all the parts get manufactured and normally put together.
Sure. But what does that have to do with... I mean...
What do you mean, what's it got to do with, like, we probably wouldn't have had this issue with a HasLab exclusive if they owned their own factory and they were producing them themselves.
Why? It's money.
That's understandable.
Nothing to do with the product. It has to do with the money. They want more money for less product. That is the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying
And
to
the
get at.
only way that you can fight back is with your wallet.
Hmm?
Say no.
Yep. But you also have to remember, look at how because I mean I'm looking at like all different toy manufacturers across the board, and one thing I've noticed, and it's pretty interesting, how Mattel had bought
Tonka?
no Mega Bloks from back in the day. They made the Mega Constructs line.
Yeah.
Then they got rid of Mega Constructs. They're now going to be doing what's called Mattel Bricks. Guess what they're producing with Mattel Bricks? Hot Wheels cars. And I'm talking, these Hot Wheel vehicles are literally in scale with a lot of the Lego, what's it called, speed racers that they have right now, like the racer line, the ones that are really,
Speed
really
Champions.
good. Yeah, Speed Champions.
Yeah,
These
I
things
started collecting
blow
those.
those Speed Champions away, and I'll tell you why. They have die-cast wheels on a brick-built toy. And guess how much money these are going to cost? Speed Champions are what, roughly about 25, almost $30 now. Theirs out the gate are $20. And they come with a die-cast car. You're getting a built brick thing with a die-cast car. By Mattel, that owns the license to all these vehicles. And now you got Lego out there that's been struggling because of this. Hasbro couldn't hold a candle to any of this stuff, so Hasbro had done that that G.I. Joe set recently and licensed it to Mattel because Mattel has Mega Constructs.
Yeah.
So what do you think they possibly may end up doing with Transformers? Probably the same thing.
I mean, Lego has already done Transformers.
Well, they've only done 2. And I don't think they're going to do a third one because the Bumblebees are literally shelf warming. No one wants it.
Yeah. And Blocky.
Nobody
Blocky
wants
did that too. I'm sorry.
Well,
you say that no, those are figures. Look at them. I mean, they're like Lego figures put together.
Are you talking about the Blockies?
Yes.
No, those are more like an Action Master.
Oh,
They
hell
are
no.
Have you actually looked at the design? The design is closer to an Action Master than a Creon.
The overall design, maybe, but when you put them together, it's like a Lego, top and bottom, sides. It's a Lego figure. They use the same design for that.
Well, I would say it's closer, maybe like a Lego Bionicle is how the chest
It's still Lego.
portion is, but
So guess what?
it's also a model kit. Their license is model kits, not an actual building block kit.
What?
There's
Guess
a
what?
difference.
Hasbro just played off of Lego.
Through a
And you're
different
like,
company.
oh, it's copyright infringement.
Are
This
those
and other.
companies-
No, I did this. I did that. It's BS.
Well,
Blockies is a, or those are like technically they were produced for the Chinese market, right?
I think so, but they've gotten all over the place. They have different scale classes too, like different sizes.
I think they were released over there, but then brought over here. That makes sense.
But I mean, the point is, Brett, these things are very popular, and people love these Blockies.
Sure, they
They're
do.
mass produced. From what I heard, the paint work on these things are excellent. The build quality is excellent. And honestly, I don't see Hasbro putting out that kind of quality in these type of things because they wouldn't be doing half the paint work that these things have.
How do you think they have the likenesses of those figures?
They have the likeness. They have the license. I'm talking about them themselves actually making these things. If they were trying to go around the same route that they're trying to do, like Omega Prime, it would be shoddy quality. It's a different company. This company doesn't do just do Transformers. Dude, they're doing Sesame Street. They got so many different licenses underneath them now. It's kind of like
Jason.
Super 7.
Jason, listen. Hasbro pays for these likenesses for these toys. Okay?
Well, yeah, of course they do.
Just like Bacon paid for the likenesses of these toys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it's literally you pay to get that, and then a third-party company makes them.
Right, but it's not licensed. It's not any type of like IP infringement. That's different. What I'm trying to get at is the quality of the toys themselves. The reason why Mattel quality is kind of not usually, it's kind of all over the place. It's because they don't actually own their own factories, much like Hasbro. But if you look at the quality that Playmates puts out, Playmates is blowing it away because they're able to even do stuff cheaper. Why do you think the price point of a Ninja Turtle is not insanely expensive? It's not because it's not popular. It's because they can make them a lot cheaper because they own the factories.
I agree with that. I disagree with your first point. I do not believe they're as popular.
I highly...
But everything else, I agree with that.
I disagree with the unpopularity of Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles is one of those brands that they can literally do anything they want to with. Because Ninja Turtles has changed and evolved so much throughout the years. So many other lines have tried to follow the coattails of Ninja Turtles and have failed. And they're constantly reinventing themselves, and they're constantly relevant. It's hard to not be relevant. But when did they fall off? Because I haven't ever heard of them ever falling off.
I personally don't think they're relevant. I think that they fell off years ago, but I think that by rebranding themselves, they've made themselves relevant. So they're kind of forcing that.
Well, they reinvent because that's what they do.
Well,
that's how they stay relevant. They're not changing the quality. They're still sticking with the 4 main turtles. They haven't ever changed that. Okay. They always stick with at least having Krang or Shredder, somebody like that as the adversary. They don't change the main demographics. But what they do change is maybe the storyline, maybe the design. I myself am not a fan of some of the designs of some of those turtles, but the price points are actually still spot on. I can't remember exactly how much they are right now. I want to say they're maybe like $11, $12 a piece. I could buy an $11, $12 turtle versus a $25 Transformer, and the quality of that turtle is much better than that Transformer. Because the plastic quality isn't yellowing, the parts don't break, they're designed to be played with, and you don't have a whole lot of QC issues with them, from what I've heard. And from what I've actually had in hand. Playing with some of the Transformers we have, yellowing, breakage, parts popping off, brand new line, parts popping off. There's really no excuse for that type of thing. Other than bad design or just bad quality control. It's one of the two. I mean, Omega Prime's a big statement of that right now. Now, I do know that there was an Amazon exclusive of the Terradrome that came out. And there was a big stink about how big the Terradrome was because it was smaller than the original. Everybody wanted the original size. It's like they took the original one and just kind of shrunk it a little. Well, they're going to be doing the sewer layer pretty soon. And they've literally come out and said to everybody about the sewer layer because I think those are like Amazon exclusive. You can only get it through there.
So
The sewer layer is going to be a 1-to-1 scale with the original because there was such a stink about how small the other one was. So that's an active thing that the company itself, Playmates, is saying, hey, we are going to fix the issue before it becomes an issue. So let's see Hasbro do that with Lyle Kaiser. That's my thing. You got a problem right now with a big release? Let's hope they do the same thing with Lyle Kaiser. So
I will try to be as calm as I can. You no, I do not agree with that. I think trying to, and I really think this needs to be a separate episode.
Okay.
Okay. Moving back, quality control is it's not good. That's my overall answer. Quality control right now is not. When I've had thousands of G1 toys in my possession, and I really didn't see any deviation from the norm.
Right.
You have these new toys that have, okay, I get it, paint, whatever, but QC issues where they break. Come on.
Yeah.
What the heck? Why?
I think that's my biggest beef with it too, Brett. It is. I'm not happy with the QC issues. I think that's why I'm so harsh on Hasbro about stuff now.
How is a figure 20 years old better than a figure that was released 2 months ago with QC issues?
Inferior materials, bad design.
Okay.
Nobody actually looking over the figures, like checking them as much as they should.
Okay, you
How much
just
money
said
they're
three things.
wanting for them is also another factor because they're
Well,
jacking the
you
price
said-
up.
You said 4 things. Okay? And other than that, the quality of the plastic, everything else is Hasbro, whatever you want to call them, related. Okay? I can't control when I produce a toy and the quality of the plastic. If I tell them I want that, I'm not really responsible for that plastic. But everything else, yes, you are. 100%.
Well, I think you were disconnected at the time, but I remember Mike had talked about, didn't anybody mess with like the test shots? This is the 1 or 2 that just came off the line. Could you tell whether something was broken or not on Megaprime? You can't tell me Hasbro didn't have one in hand. I know Michael had mentioned it. It's one of those things. It's like, I think this is just bad. It could be bad communication. You know, what it boils down to is somebody wasn't doing their job. Really.
Maybe.
Kind of feels that way to me because with about 50% that I've seen, because it's crazy. This is probably the biggest QC issue I've heard of an exclusive toy in a very, very, very long time. Like, this is a pretty widespread issue. And you can't tell me Hasbro's designers and the people in charge didn't once look at this toy and be like, oh, well, that's a little tight. I guess they'll work their way out and send it on its way.
Well, I'll say that the only other time there's been widespread issues like this is probably Masterpiece line. The Masterpiece line does have these problems fairly often.
Right.
But I mean, for an exclusive toy that you bought, there was no care involved. It was treated like Sideburn had said earlier, like a retail release. Is exactly how they treated it.
They might put more care into
it. Honestly, maybe. I mean, so you have, and we really need to go.
Yeah, we probably need to wrap up here soon. So
we really do. But remember that you have the designers, you have the people that throw it to the people that make the marketing, that make the choices, that make the price point, that make the distribution. There's so many levels. So if someone thinks some way could it skew everything else? Absolutely. I mean, yeah. Do I think some things someone, quote unquote, made a bad decision? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we could redefine those abs on that Prime and make him stronger. Well, it's going to cost us 13 cents more per item. There you go.
That or have to redo the entire mold that had the one little piece that was messed up that's caused the issue, to have to redo that entire mold. I know it costs a lot of money, but if you're getting a widespread problem like this and all you can do is send out another subpar product in the place of it, then maybe you should just stop selling them.
Yeah, but if you don't think that's going to happen, you can say 13 cents, you're going to do it.
Yeah, I know. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to cut a new mold to redo those bits that are causing the problem to turn around and fix it.
It's not even that. It's the overall product.
Yeah.
If you can sell something for $5 and make 10, but it might be defective and it costs us $6. I'll go ahead and let it go at 5, and I'll deal with the consequences later.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, a lot of it boils down to reputation. Is what it really boils down to. And
I don't think Hasbro worries about their reputation.
They don't right now.
They think about the overall cost.
That's what I said. They don't right now, but you give it time. Because time tells all things, and we all know that. It really does. But,
yeah, I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Too. And I got other stuff to do.
I'm going to bed.
Okay. Well then. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Thank you guys for tuning in this really extra long-winded one. We will be back. We're going to still have to discuss the time because I don't know if it'll work with Dawn. Yeah.
7?
Yeah, I don't know. But we're going to try to shoot for 7 o'clock on Eastern Standard. So that'll be it'll be an hour earlier here for us Central guys. So.
Oh, guys, I need my beauty rest. I mean, come on. Need it.
He's got to look pretty when he's at work.
I'm old. Give me a break.
Hey, we're all getting up there in the years. We're all suffering from a little bit of GPS.
Oh my God! I can't believe you said that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Guy comes as a G2 guy.
I got that.
All right. Well,
one day we're going to be on a podcast and we're just going to hear a pop, and it's going to be
It's a wonder
Brett
you don't hear my
shattering in his
knees and my
packaging.
joints pop. because
What?
they're-
Me dying? I mean, come on. Jeez.
Like I'm always
it's gonna be
popping and
you.
cracking.
I don't even open the package, and my Megavis broke.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, my hip already pops. I mean, come on. Give me a break.
You know, growing up in the age where you went to, clubs and stuff like that and did all the whole pop locking, well, this isn't on purpose anymore.
No, it's not.
Back then, we used to do it on purpose. Now it's all like accidental, so pop locking
No,
is a thing now.
not. Get up out of bed and something pops and you're like, what the hell was that? It happens. Anyway,
we're signing off. We will see you guys next week. But yeah, we'll figure out the time and I'll have it posted up so that way everybody knows. So you guys follow me on Facebook and I'll probably end up doing a blurb on YouTube to let everybody know. So we're gonna end the cast. So you guys say goodnight and then we're gonna get out of here.
I'm out.
See you guys.
Bye.
Hopefully everyone had better luck than I did. Bye.
Yep.